Hello again, people. It's your host, Amateur Overlord. I don't even know how to say this. I feel like it's the title of the video, so you know what it is. But it's like, I feel like I don't know if I'm done with black women. And don't get it twisted. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, what do you mean you're done with black women? Let me start from the beginning, okay? Throughout my life, I've always gravitated to black women. I don't have a prejudice against anybody. I think all people are beautiful. In fact, if people run it back to some of the first people I started dating, when I did start dating, they were usually Latinas or Afro-Latinas, Puerto Ricans, things like that. People like that, excuse me. And then when I came to London, even then I was still dating, bear in mind I was in a close-knit religious environment, and when you're in a close-knit religious environment that encourages you to date within the faith, as it were, you then end up fishing all from the same pool, and everyone gets kind of like quote-unquote socially inbred. So there's slim pickings when you're in a close-knit religious community that encourages you to date within that community and marry within that community. You will become socially inbred. It's like being inbred, but without the obvious dangers of the genetic side effects of canoodling with a family member and having all them close genetics screw the host. Anyway, I don't need to get into that. But anyone who's in one of these situations, who's in a close-knit religious environment, will understand what I say about that. It gets to be like, oh, if I want to date someone, I can only date them. I think I'll stay single a while longer. And then you just get picky, and sometimes you end up staying single for longer than you had anticipated or desired to. So I was a part of that. But the lady I was dating, she was really beautiful, really intelligent, hardworking, industrious, fun. But the problem I had with her, I'm not going to say too much about her because there's people that know me and they'll know who I'm talking about. And they'll probably know who I'm talking about anyway. But one of the main things that bothered me about that relationship was I was going through, at the time, a cancer scare. And I think I've just found out what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, because I was wondering, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? But I'm going to talk about my cancer scare. I should probably write that down. Yeah, give me 1 second here. So there's that part. And now I've just messed up something else here. A little background noise. You know what? Leave it. So, yeah. So, cancer scare. I shouldn't keep saying that, because there's some people I really care about that are going through things that aren't synonymous with that. So as I'm going through that situation, she just put way too much pressure and stress on me, and there were other things that were going on that at the time that caused me problems. And I was just like, this relationship's too much for me. I think we should part ways amicably. She cried. I cried a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was emotional about it. But when all things were said and done, I was glad that we ended the relationship. And I became more glad, hear this, when I went over to the family house and her pops wasn't there. So I talked to the mom and I was like, yo, me and so-and-so are gonna part ways. And I'll never forget what the mom said. And this is what flipped my brain to be more like pro-black women at the time. She said, I hope you twos don't get back together. Like, she said it in the sense that I don't want you to be like breaking up and making up. But the way she said it at the time was like, I don't want you guys to try and get back together, kind of. And the difference was when I told my mother about us breaking up, my mother was like, oh no, she's such a nice girl. I hope you two can work it out. My mother came from a sweet, loving place, respect for the individual that I had chosen and respect for our relationship. My mother. And then when my mom told me other things her mom had said, and this is more poignant than the thing I just said, because that's just parent talk. She said, oh, I had always envisioned my daughter marrying some tall blonde man. Now, if you've watched my videos, any of my videos, or if you've seen me in person, or if you can see me right now, which I hope you can, God forbid, you're suffering with some visual impairment or whatever, and if you are, I wish you the best. I am not a tall, blonde anything, nor do I need to be. I am perfect the way I am. My opinion. Um, and I'm thinking, if you say something like that in general, that's bad. If you say something like that to the mother of the individual who clearly does not appear this way, who is dating your daughter now, you're just taking a shot. You're just taking a dig at me for my appearance or what you feel is an acceptable partner for your child. So that let me know right there. And I thought, why am I gonna have my half-black babies that I would love and cherish be around their grandma who has this type of view of them, who's not gonna cherish and love them or see them the way that I see them just by the fact that her ideal is not what I am. So I was just thinking to myself, you know what? This whole situation's a little bit too messed up for me. I'm just gonna steer clear of the whole situation. And I never really told her that. One of the main reasons I didn't want to be with her was with her mother. But when you date someone, when you marry someone, you marry the whole family. You are all connected. That marriage joins you all. That relationship joins you all, and you literally become part of that whole arrangement. So if you don't agree with some part of that arrangement, some part of that family, think very carefully because you guys are tied together for life. And that, not to mention, she was also heavily influenced by everything her mother said. Although she coined herself or saw herself as like a rebel who did her own thing, she was very much in the pocket. So, and yeah, when it boiled down to it, it was like she cared more about what everyone else thought than I thought. And I was like, cool, you should have people that care about you and respect their decisions. But if you're with somebody and you're dating somebody, you should also take into account what they're saying. And if we're gonna become a couple, then my word and your word should be the final word on what happens in our relationship. Ultimately, unless we seek outside help from, let's say, a marriage counselor or a relationship counselor, it should be between us, and we should work out our differences honestly and openly and with respect. Was not happening. So I was like, cool, I'm not gonna push against, the wind, as they say. Went with it, said, cool, peace. Even then, after the fact, this girl's telling people she broke up with me, and I was like, wow, you'll do anything to save face, baby girl. You'll do anything that you care about what everyone thinks so much. And again, close-knit religious environment, maybe saving face is more important to you than actually how things go down. But let it be. It is what it is. I ain't mad at you. It's done. I found so much more happiness after the fact. And even just directly after you and I parted ways, I had an amazing relationship, which I may brush gently against in my following vlog tomorrow. The cancer situation. Okay, so back to the whole black women thing. After that, I dated exclusively black women. I didn't want to hear from you if you wasn't black. If you wasn't black and you was trying to talk to me, or even mixed race, I wasn't trying to talk to you. I was never one of them guys that's like, oh, light is this, light is that. And if you live in the UK, you hear these guys talk this stupid nonsense about why. I remember one time I was out with these guys, and this is in that same former religious environment I found myself. We go to like Greenwich Park, and they're like, oh, there's a whole bunch of lighties, it's the promised land. And these are religious men, quote unquote, talking this nonsense. And they're just some basic Negroes. They're just saying this nonsensical stuff. And to be fair, to their credit, some of them are now, married to women that don't look anything like the women they used to say were the pinnacle of society. But at the time, it just showed me the mentality that was prevalent probably in their schools and in their peer groups, was that if they was gonna date a black woman, she had to be light skinned. And I think that's really sad because even when I see hashtags of hashtag mixed race or hashtag light skin, I'm disgusted by it. Like, seriously, you relegated yourself to a shade of skin that, well, how does that define you? I can see you. You don't need that to define you. If I can physically see it, like if you told me hashtag I'm a mathematician, oh, that's interesting. That's something I wouldn't have known, just by looking at you. Like, come on, are you that basic that you have to put your skin color onto your tag? Now, the argument would then be, oh, well, they do hashtag dark skin. And I hear that, but that's usually a counter argument to the fact that the light skinned people have done all that extra BS. And I know light skinned people, I've dated light skinned people that are upset when they're around their dark skinned friends and their dark skinned friends big up themselves. And I think to myself, it is what it is. Everyone's out here trying to feel good about themselves. But as far as me not dating black women, I find that a lot of black women have very unrealistic views when it comes to men. And that could be my bias based on the fact that I've predominantly been dating them. And probably if I let free, all women have unrealistic views of what they want from their men. I think people in general have an unrealistic view of what they need from a relationship. And I'm not sure how long I got left. I'm over the 10-minute mark, and I have waffled a bit. I'll admit it, but I don't know. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna open myself up to meeting more people, more diverse people. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna count out black women, because I love black women. It's where I came from. First women that loved, fed, cared for me. Obviously gonna be black women. My mother, my aunties, my sisters. And I have a special place for black women. Like, my cousin says it the best. He's like, black women are crazy, yeah, but I got time for them. I think that's the best way to explain the whole situation. But I am gonna open myself up. So if you're not black and you like me, let me know. If you got love in your heart, let me know. I want to know. I'm getting older, you know. I am more than ready to have a serious relationship with somebody. But there's other things obviously that are gonna take priority inside of that. And yeah, I feel like this was good. Although it went a bit around about the houses today, we got there in the end. And black women, I'm sorry, man. Y'all making me crazy. I have time for you, but you're making me crazy. And I'm probably making some of y'all crazy, to be fair. I haven't been my best self in a lot of my relationships, but I didn't deserve some of that. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. And who do you date? What do you love? What do you like? Do you not date black women as a black man? Do you have any concrete reasons or just some opinions on it? I'm happy to hear from you. Put it in the comment section. Like, subscribe, put the notifications in there. I want to hear from you. I've seen that I'm getting some airplay out in South Africa. Shout out to all the South Africans. People in Zimbabwe, I'm getting a bit out there. I got mad love for you. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate you watching, and I have a lot of love for you, and I'll try and gear some of my content towards you and your communities, all right? So this is Amateur Overlord, and I'm signing out. Have a great day.